In this video, I'm going to show you my process for improving golfers. You'll want to watch this because it's a little bit different to how you've probably gone about it yourself, but it will all make sense. It's very simple, and there'll be lots of takeaways that you can have for your own game as well. So who am I? My name's Adam Young. I'm a golf coach. I'm the author of the Practice Manual and co-host of the Sweet Spot podcast. Now, the process that most people go through when they try and improve their game is what I call swing beautification. You know, they look on YouTube, perhaps, I know you're here, but they look on YouTube or pick up a magazine trying to look for that swing secret. So they might be, working on their takeaway. Okay, well, I got to get my wrist in this position, club in this position, set my wrist, and then you'll end up trying to make this pretty looking swing, and it'll perform horribly, perhaps. Now, I'm not saying that process can't work, but it's very slow and it's not really dedicated to what you need. There are lots of great players out there who don't have pretty swings, like Jim Furyk, Matt Wolff, Calvin Peete, Ray Floyd, Nancy Lopez, loads and loads of players throughout the years. And even to this day, I mean, look at Scotty Scheffler, right? His swing looks really funky. Yeah, I don't think many players, apart from Tiger, have hit it better than him. So all of that is to say that you shouldn't be going out there trying to make your swing different just based on an aesthetic or a preconceived idea of a model that you have. Instead, you'll want to use this system. So, right, the way I do it, very, very simple. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the player's stats and I'm going to see what actually costs them on the golf course. Now, lots of players will already know this. They can come to me and they can say, look, I hit a lot of shots short. I hit a lot of shots left. I actually have a downloadable template that you can get. It'll be in the comments. And that will help you really pinpoint what you need to work on. Or you can use apps like Arcos or Tangent, I use a lot. And these will really help break it down for you. Now, if you don't have that data available, there's certain tests you can do on the range that's going to give you a reasonable idea of what you would do on the golf course. So after hitting, say, 20 shots on a driving range, just note down whether the biggest miss for each shot was more left or right, or long or short. The next part of this process is to then link the outcome error, so if you're going left all the time, to an impact error. Again, my downloadable template actually tracks this stuff for you. Usually if you're having distance control issues, it's going to be a strike element, maybe hitting on the toe or heel, or more likely fat or thin. And if it's a direction issue, then it's going to be something like path or face angle, which can be linked to things like alignment as well. Now, if max distance is your issue, if you just don't hit it far enough to the plate of the handicap that you want to, then that could be things like swing speed, strike quality, or launch conditions, things like the spin or launch angle of the golf ball. So once we've analyzed the outcome errors, then we've linked that to the impact errors, we can now make swing changes that are actually relevant to the impact errors, which are going to feed to the outcome errors. So the huge twist here is we're not just making swing changes for the sake of aesthetics or because we don't like how our swing looks. We're actually making them to make our impact better, to make our outcomes better, to make our scores better. I know this sounds so mind-numbingly obvious when you hear it, but think about it in your own game. How often do you actually go through that little process that I've been through? So let's go through an actual example here. Imagine Dustin Johnson comes for a lesson, and you know Dustin Johnson's swing. He's got quite a strange wrist move, really bows the lead wrist. Now imagine he's suffering with right shots and thin shots. Now most model-based instruction is going to go straight for his wrist and say, right, you've got to change that wrist angle because it's not how we like it. It's not flat like it should be, in air quotes. But this will likely make him worse because if you take him from that flexed position with the lead wrist and you make it less flexed, that's probably going to open the face more and get that shot to even be more to the right. So in my method, we're going to look at the outcome first. So that's going to be short shots from the thins and then right shots. Then we relate that to the impact factors, which is going to be the thin or low contact on the face, combined with an open face, which is sending the ball to the right. And so now we can apply an intervention that actually fixes both of those things. So as an example, in Dustin Johnson, we could actually allow him to release the club a little earlier because Dustin Johnson has a lot of forward shaft lean. So if he lets some of that out, that's going to help to close the face a little bit. It's also going to get the club closer to the ground to reduce the thin shots. So what this allows us to do with Dustin Johnson is we can leave his unorthodox wrist position at the top and we can just add something in his existing swing and his existing motion that just complements everything. Now that's Dustin Johnson, a professional. Let's have a look at an amateur example. So this is an example of a player who's missing short, lots of fat shots, and with their impact, they have a very shallow angle of attack, not a lot of forward shaft lean, so they're launching the ball quite high as well. Now a simple intervention here would be more weight shift, getting them to get into their lead side earlier and more aggressively. Well, why? Well, this actually moves the low point of the swing forwards, which is going to create a steeper angle of attack, so there'll be less debris trapped between the club face and the ball. That's going to improve consistency of spin rates. There's also going to be less dynamic loft impact due to the forward shaft lean, which is actually going to raise the strike up the face a little bit, and that can create a bigger margin for error. And the act of shifting our weight forwards more, that's going to move the low point of the swing forwards, so the ground contact's going to move forwards as well. So to summarize that process, think about your outcome errors. Do you tend to miss more left, right, long or short? Then determine your impact errors that relate to that. Again, long or short is going to be related to strike issues, maybe toe or heel, or maybe fat or thin. And if you're a player who has more left or right issues, that's going to be a path or a face error. Finally, once you find a pattern in there, you're going to make a swing intervention that actually relates to that impact factor, not just something for beautification. If you'd like to learn how to work with me on your own game, just contact me, adam@adamyounggolf.com. And don't forget to download the stats tracking template that I've got in the comments. It's going to really help you identify the problems that are costing you on the golf course.